Assalamualaikum. Our topic for today is interim financial reporting in reference to MFRS 134. At the end of this lecture, you must have the ability to explain the main principle in the preparation of interim financial statement. You must have the ability to discuss the content and the presentation of interim report. Okay, be able to recognize and measure of item in interim financial statement, and to be able to discuss the disclosure requirement of MFRS 134 interim financial report. Okay, so when you go through the lecture, always come back to this topic outcome and check your ability, okay, whether you understand or not. If you have a good understanding, you must be able to have this requirement. Okay. Bursa Malaysia require all entity whose debt or equity security are publicly traded to publish interim financial report. Okay, so it's actually a requirement for company listed in Bursa Malaysia. An interim financial report is a financial report for a period shorter than an entity's full financial year. Okay, previously you are familiar with company's financial statement, which we prepare for 1 year period or 12-month period. Okay, but when we talk about interim financial reporting, it will be for shorter period. For example, it can be issued semi-annually, quarterly or bi-monthly. Okay, financial report, interim financial report can be a complete or condensed set of financial statement. MFRS 134 prescribe the minimum content, including disclosure, and identify the recognition and measurement principle that should be applied in interim financial report. Okay, so on how should you prepare interim financial report, what should be the content, okay, then you should refer to MFRS 134. Before we move on further, okay, I also provide to you a sample of interim report. Okay, actually 4 sample of interim report. Okay, one is Nestle Malaysia Berhad. Okay, we also have Guangchong Berhad, Ideal Jacob Malaysia Corporation Berhad, and also Tiger Synergy Berhad. Okay, to assist the discussion in this lecture, my advice to you is for you to get a copy of that 4 sample so that it will be easier for you to refer. Okay, so this is an example of interim report by Nestle Malaysia Berhad. Okay, you can see that for Nestle, it prepare a condensed financial report. Okay, the directors are pleased to present the interim report for the period ended 31st March 2020 as follow. Okay, so shorter duration for Nestle, interim financial report is 3 months. Okay, another sample is Guangchong Berhad, interim financial report for the first quarter. Okay, so the period is a quarterly period, and Guangchong report refer to the first quarter. What does that mean? In order for you to decide first quarter include which month, you need to check the company year end. Okay, financial year end. So in this situation, Guangchong Berhad financial year end is 31st December. So first quarter refer to January, February, March. Quarter setiap suku kan. Okay, 3 bulan. Okay, and then we have Ideal Jacob, also interim financial report, but for Ideal Jacob, okay, the company provide for the third quarter ended 30th September, meaning that it start from July, August, September. Okay, year end 31st December as well. Okay, this is a snapshot of the overall sample. For detailed information, you must refer to the sample interim report that I provide. Okay, another example is Tiger Energy. Okay, preparing for the fourth quarter. Okay, so why does company prepare interim financial report? One of the reasons is to provide investors and other users with more timely or current information. Okay, with timely and current information, users are able to evaluate entities' financial position, performance, and cash flow on continual basis. Okay, so with interim financial report, investor can know what happened to the company more quickly. Okay, for example, in this situation of pandemic COVID-19, there are many businesses that are affected. So maybe the investor wanted to know how this situation affect the company. Okay, rather than wait for a complete 1 year period, by providing interim financial report, okay, the company can convey the information to the investor much more quickly rather than let the investor wait until the end of the accounting period. So it's more or less by preparing interim financial report, the company can ease the investors from worrying, for example. Okay, mungkin ramai investor nak tahu macam mana COVID-19, for example, affect their investment or the company that they invest. Okay, so by having a quarterly every 3 months, then dia akan dapat maklumat tu dengan lebih cepat. Okay, apa telah berlaku kepada company tu in that 3 months period. Okay, so before we start, let's look at the definition provided in MFRS 134. Okay, interim period is a financial reporting period shorter than a full financial year. Interim financial report is a financial report containing either a complete set of financial statement or a set of condensed financial statement. From the sample that I provide, all the company use condensed financial statement. For the content of interim financial statement, the interim report seeks to provide an update on the latest complete set of annual financial statement and does not duplicate information previously reported. Okay, entity can either present a complete set of financial statement or condensed financial statement. Okay, so if the company decide to prepare a complete set of financial statement, the financial statement should include yang macam biasa kita prepare lah. Dia mesti ada the statement of financial position, statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of cash flow, statement of change in equity, notes to account. Okay, a complete set adalah a set of financial statement that we normally prepare. However, for the purpose of interim report, the entity is permitted to present less information as compared to that listed in MFRS 101. Okay, If choose complete set of financial statement, then the company has to follow strictly the requirement of MFRS 101. So in here, the interim financial report is similar to financial statement that you previously prepared. It's just that it is for a shorter period. Instead of having the financial statement annually, you prepare, for example, maybe half yearly or quarterly. Another alternative is for the company to prepare a condensed financial statement. Okay, if the company decide to prepare a condensed financial statement, then the company should at least minimum paling kurang mesti ada satu, a condensed statement of financial position, a condensed separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income presented either as a condensed single statement or a condensed separate statement of profit or loss and a condensed statement of other comprehensive income. Okay, thirdly, a condensed statement of cash flow, condensed statement of change in equity, and selected explanatory notes. So if you look carefully, the component of the financial statement is still similar, where you have financial position, profit and loss, cash flow, change in equity, and notes. The difference is it is condensed. Okay, condensed means dia dipadatkan. Okay, later on you can see how we actually condense the information in the financial statement. Okay, the above set of condensed financial statements should include at a minimum the following. Okay, selected explanatory notes as required by the standard. So instead of showing a complete notes to account, the company is allowed to just prepare or show selected explanatory notes, and the company is required to show basic and diluted earning per shares on the face of the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Okay, because again, what is the reason of preparing interim financial report is for investors to make decision making, investors or users, for them to make decision making. So a quick decision making, tools for them to assist in decision making process could be by basic and diluted earning per shares, because they want to know what happened to their earnings per share or what actually happened to their investment. Okay, and then condensed financial statement can include additional line item or notes will be if they are significant in the overall context of the entity, which means that if the information is not included, then the condensed interim financial statement would be misleading. Okay, next, reporting period for interim financial statement. Okay, it can be half yearly or quarterly. The report cover the current period, year to date, and also comparative. Okay, it include, for example, first statement of financial position as the end of the current interim period and a comparative statement of financial position as of the end of the immediate preceding financial year. Okay, for a statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, you need to provide the current interim period and cumulative for the current financial year to date with comparative, okay, of last year's interim period and immediately preceding financial year. Okay, for a statement of change in equity, okay, it show a cumulative for the current financial year to date with a comparative statement for the comparable year to date period of the immediate preceding financial year. Okay, for statement of cash flow, cumulative also for the current financial year to date with comparative statement for the comparable year to date. Okay, so if you can see that statement of change and also statement of cash flow, the requirement is for the company to show cumulative. Okay, cumulative. Okay, cumulative for the current financial year. Okay, this is basis. It's either integral method or discrete method. Okay, for integral method, interim report is a fraction of the annual report. Okay, and annual value is a fraction of the reporting period, or discrete. Interim period is a separate period, and report are prepared on the periodic basis. Further explanation. Okay, a company incurred all its advertising expenses amount 12,000 in the first quarter of financial year, but none in the subsequent 3 quarters of financial year. So this is discrete, where we have it. Okay, interim report is a fraction of the annual report. Or if we have integral, interim period is a separate period. So kita agihkan ikut quarter. So in preparing or reviewing interim financial report, what you should look at is the period. What is the interim period? Is it half yearly? Is it quarterly? Do we have bi-monthly? Okay. And then look at, does the company prepare a complete set of financial statement, or is it a condensed financial statement? Okay. What is the component of financial statement based on number 2 above, which means that if the company decide to prepare a condensed financial statement, then you can see the component is also a condensed component. For example, you will see condensed statement of financial position, condensed statement of profit or loss, and then look for a basis, either integral or discrete, which is commonly when we prepare interim financial report, commonly we have discrete, so that we can have for a interim period. Okay, and then we look into the content, what should be presented or included, and how it should be presented if it's condensed, and when you make comparison, is it comparable between what with what? Okay, that is a thing that you need to look in when you review the financial report, interim financial report. Okay, so again, if the company decide to prepare a condensed set of financial statement, it should include at a minimum, okay, sekurang-kurangnya, condensed statement of financial position, condensed statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, condensed statement of change in equity, condensed statement of cash flow, and selected explanatory notes. Form and content of interim financial statement. Okay, if entity publish a set of condensed financial statement in its interim financial report, the condensed statement shall include as a minimum, okay, each of the heading and subtotal that was included in its most recent annual financial statement, selected explanatory notes as required by the standard. Okay, basic and diluted earning per shares on the face of the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Okay, so what does each of the heading and subtotal that were included in its most recent annual financial statement? What does this mean? Okay, if you refer to interim report of Okay, refer to interim report of Nestle Berhad page 2 is stated on that page. This interim financial report should be read in conjunction with the audited financial statement of the group for the year ended 31st December 2019. Okay, so that what is referred to the most recent annual report. Okay, so in here, the most recent annual report of Nestle is 31st December 2019. Okay, so each of the heading and subtotal that were included in the most annual report means that, okay, you can see that this is the statement of financial position last year, or this is a complete annual report of Nestle, and the blue one refer to the interim reporting. Okay, refer to interim financial report. What is mean by line? Each of the heading and subtotal that were included. Each of the heading maksudnya kalau you tengok, this is yang full set of financial statement. Okay, the first item is PPE, right? Okay, the first item is PPE, then our interim should also put PPE. Then we have right of use. We have right of use for food. Okay, kalau you tengok dekat interim pun dia ada right of use. The next one is intangible. Ini pun the next one is intangible. Okay, investment in subsidiaries for interim tak ada sebab dia memang tak ada nilai. So we don't have to write in our interim. So that what is meant by each of the heading and subtotal that were included in its most recent annual financial statement. So according to the interim that we refer to, the most recent financial statement is 31st December 2019. Okay, form and content of interim financial statement. In condensed financial statement, certain line item may be aggregated such that the content is usually less detailed than the complete set of financial statement. So itu maksudnya condensed. Okay, condensed interim financial statement. For example, to aggregate trade receivable and other receivable. Okay, maybe in the statement, full set of financial statement, kita ada trade receivable, satu nilai, then we have other receivable, satu nilai. Okay, but if you are preparing a condensed interim report, you can have trade receivable campur dengan other receivable, tunjukkan satu nilai. Okay, condensed. Okay, and then we may have in our full financial statement, we may have cash satu figure, bank satu figure, and then deposit another figure. But when you prepare a condensed financial statement, then you can have all these three items are aggregated and present as cash and cash equivalent dengan satu nilai. Okay. And then if you prepare statement of profit or loss, if we have detailed classification of expenses, okay, by function or nature, you can just aggregate it to be operating expenses. So that what is actually meant by condense. Okay, apa maksudnya condense? Kita boleh aggregate ataupun kita boleh gabungkan beberapa item dan menunjukkan satu nilai mewakili a set of similar item. Okay, reporting period for interim financial statement generally can be half yearly or quarterly. So the report must cover current period, year to date, and also comparative. Okay. MFRS 134 prescribe that interim report shall include interim financial statement for a period as follow. Okay, so this is to answer the question, what is the content and how should you present. First one is statement of financial position as of the end of the current interim period and a comparative statement of financial position as of the end of the immediately preceding years. Okay, and then statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income must be for the current interim period and cumulative for the current financial year to date with comparative last year information. Okay, and then for statement of change in equity, cumulative for the current financial year to date with comparative statement for the comparable year to date immediately preceding financial year. Statement of cash flow cumulative juga for the current financial year to date with a comparative statement of for the comparable year to date period. Okay, for example, ABC Berhad has a financial year ending on 31st December. It is preparing the interim report for the second quarter ended 30th June. Okay, indicate the period for which interim financial statements are required to present. Second quarter, so we have statement of financial position. Kat sini ditunjuk. Kita tulis interim statement of financial position as at 30th June. Okay, that is the current interim period, and then you need to show comparative to statement of financial position for the immediate preceding year, that is 31st December 2015. Okay, or if we refer to the sample provided. Okay, if we refer to Nestle interim report, okay, Nestle is preparing for the first quarter, that is January, February and March. Okay, so from here you can see that Nestle show for the current period. Okay, this is the current period as at 31st, okay, 31st March, and then also the previous year as comparison. Okay, statement of financial position as the end of the current interim period yang ini, and a comparative statement of financial position as of the end of the immediate preceding financial year. Okay, so based on this, you can roughly see, for example, if we look at last year, 31st December 2019, if you refer to cash and cash equivalent, baki pada 31 December 2019, you can see that our cash and cash equivalent is 10 million, the amount is 10 million. Okay, but 3 months later, the amount has increased to 80 million plus. Okay, so you can make comparison for cash and cash equivalent, for example, based on last year and also based on the current interim period. Okay, ataupun kalau kita tengok, for example, we look at inventory. Okay, inventory at the end of last year, 551 million. Okay, and then at the end of 3 month interim period, dia dah pun berkurangan. Mungkin kita boleh baca daripada sini, stok kita telah terjual. Okay, stok kita berkurangan maknanya berlaku jualan. Okay, so kita boleh tengok dengan lebih cepatlah bila kita ada interim report. And then bila kita compare dengan last year financial position. Okay, kalau kita tengok PPE kita tak berubah sangat lah, sebab PPE mungkin berkurang sebab depreciation, for example. Okay, for ideal Jacob Malaysia Berhad, okay, ideal Jacob is preparing financial report for the third quarter. Okay, so for the third quarter, the requirement is statement of financial position as the end of the current interim period and comparative statement of financial position at the end of immediately preceding financial year. So since Idea Jacob is preparing for the third quarter, so it's until 30th September. Okay, sama juga 30th September dengan 31 Disember, dia dah 9 bulan ke hadapan lah. Okay, 9 bulan ke hadapan, you can see or you should expect more progress. Okay, or more good thing happen. For example, if you look at cash pun sebanyak tempoh tersebut cash kita telah bertambah, tapi kalau kita tengokkan pada masa yang sama dalam tempoh 9 bulan tersebut, share capital juga bertambah. Okay, share capital juga bertambah. There is a possibility for the company to issue shares during that 9-month period that lead to increase in cash and cash equivalent. Okay. For Tiger Synergy is preparing for the fourth quarter. Okay, so kalau you tengok asset, for example, contoh asset classified as held for sale, kalau fourth quarter dia almost perbezaan dia almost 1 year jugalah. You can see that asset classified held for sale dah tak ada kan, dah pun sold. Kalau what else can we look at here? Kalau dah fourth quarter tu dia dah macam comparison between annual report lah. Okay. So this is for our statement of financial position, condensed statement of financial position. Okay, next is how do we prepare statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Okay, for statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, okay, the company must show the current interim period and cumulative for the current financial year to date with comparative statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the comparable interim period. Okay, so for statement of profit or loss, we need the current interim period, okay, to compare with previous year interim period, and then you need to have also cumulative, cumulative for current year and also cumulative for previous years. Okay, example, if you cannot see clearly in this slide, that's why I said you should refer to the sample interim report for each of the company. Okay, so in here for Tiger Synergy, as I mentioned earlier, Tiger Synergy is preparing for the fourth quarter. Okay, so according to the standard statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, okay, the company must show the current interim period. Okay, so we can see that for Tiger Synergy, the first column here refer to current year fourth quarter. Okay, the individual quarter. Okay, so for Tiger Synergy, fourth quarter ended 30th June, which means that this first column refer to refer to April, May, June untuk 3 bulan sahaja. Dan you bandingkan dengan fourth quarter from last year. Okay, that is comparison for the interim period. And then the next two column is comparison of the cumulative quarter. Cumulative quarter meaning that if you are preparing for the fourth quarter, then your cumulative comprise of first quarter, second quarter, third quarter and also fourth quarter. So semua quarter tu you kena show cumulative quarter. Okay, another example, let's refer to Nestle Berhad. Okay, because Nestle Berhad is presenting for the first quarter. Okay, sebab dia first quarter dia tak nampak sangat lah. Dia nampak sama je. Sebab apa? Sebab if you have for the first quarter, cumulative dia hanya quarter 1 sajalah. Sebab tu kalau you tengok, the amount presented here is actually the same. For example, revenue for 2020 1.4 billion, cumulative pun 1.4 billion. Sebabnya cumulative dia cuma baru ada satu quarter. Okay, the next one is for statement of change in equity. Apa yang you perlu tunjuk adalah cumulative for the current financial year to date with a comparative statement for the comparable year to date of immediately preceding financial year. So, statement of change in equity, kita akan tunjuk cumulative. Okay, cumulative interim. Okay, sample, if we refer to Nestle, okay, condensed consolidate statement of change in equity. Okay, dia tunjuk ke bawah macam ni. Okay, cash flow from 1st January 2019 until 31st March, that is first quarter, okay, for previous year, and the current year is 1st January 2020 and ended 31st March 2023 month. Okay, a statement showing change in equity cumulative for the current financial year to date, that is January 2020 until 31st March 2020, with a comparative statement for the comparable year to date. So comparative is January 2019 until 31st March 2019. So 3 months. Okay, so what you need to be clear here is for Nestle, it happened to be interim period dia sama dengan cumulative period. Sebab apa? Sebab dia tunjuk first quarter. Kalau you nak tengok perbezaan antara current dengan cumulative, you should refer to Tiger lah. You refer to Tiger Synergy, sebab Tiger Synergy current period dia adalah, current interim period dia adalah fourth quarter, cumulative dia adalah quarter 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, for Jacob pun sama, sebab Jacob preparing for the third quarter. So kalau third quarter sepatutnya July, August, September is the current third quarter. However, since the requirement is for statement of change in equity showing cumulative. So, kalau cumulative maknanya 1st January 2019 sampai hujung third quarter, that is 30th September 2018. Okay. Next, for statement of cash flow, okay, you should also show cumulative for the current financial year to date with comparative statement for comparable year to date period of immediate preceding. Okay. Okay, sample as well. Okay, kalau kita tengok, this is Guangzhou first quarter juga. So, kalau first quarter until 31st December, kebetulan sama 31st December tu adalah 3 bulan for the first quarter. Okay, but for ideal Jacob, dia akan tunjuk cumulative daripada January until 30th September since ideal Jacob is preparing for the third quarter. Maknanya kena ambil kira quarter 1, quarter 2 and also quarter 3. The same goes for Tiger Synergy, okay, for current year quarter. Okay, this is already cumulative. Compare with last year cash flow statement. And finally, the last content of interim financial report is the selected explanatory notes. Okay, kalau yang financial statement biasa, kita ada notes to account, but for interim, we have selected explanatory notes. Disclosure of accounting policy is not required because the presumption is that user would have access to most recent financial statement. Focus on significant updates and change in financial position and performance since last reporting date. Okay, as a minimum, the following information, if material, okay, should be disclosed. The standard provide a minimum item that should be disclosed as part of the explanatory notes. Okay, in the list we have a total of 11 items. I will let you read this on your own, okay, because that is some tasks or exercise that are required from you, okay, at the end of this session. Okay, so bila you nak buat task tu, you akan kena rujuk kepada explanatory notes on this slide and also the next slide. Okay. Okay, this slide as well. Okay, as stated in the explanatory note, stated that okay, you need to provide the following information if material. Okay, so what is meant by if material? Okay, MFRS134 state that in deciding how to recognize, measure, classify or disclose an item for interim financial report purposes, materiality shall be assessed in relation to the interim period. Okay, so you need to look at the materiality of the item. Okay, how do we decide on the materiality of the item? Okay, the goal is that an item report include all information that is relevant to understanding an entity's financial position during the interim period. Okay, which means that in order for you to decide, katakanlah on satu-satu perkara, should it be included in the explanatory notes or not, you need to look at the concept of materiality, which means that kalau you tak letak maklumat tersebut, adakah dia menjejaskan the decision making that need to be made by the investor, ataupun kalau kita tak masukkan sesuatu perkara itu, kalau kita tak masukkan that information, will the interim financial report be misleading? Kalau dia akan jadi misleading, maka benda tu you kena masukkanlah. So that item or that information is considered to be material. Okay, for example, contoh, recognition and measurement principle, same accounting policy as annual. However, if there are changes in accounting policy after the date of the most recent annual financial statement, then the new policy should be applied in the interim financial statement, and that this kind of information you need to include in the explanatory notes. From this slide onwards, okay, the discussion will be on how do you consider or how do you take into account the recognition and measurement principle, and how do you adjust to the interim financial report. Okay, you might need to refer to this also when you do your task, and you might want to refer to this when you do your project later on. So I will leave it to you to read on your own. Okay, when you need to refer. This is a seasonal, cyclical or occasional revenue and cost. Detail of that. Costs incurred unevenly during the financial year. What should we do when you have costs incurred unevenly? Income and expenses. Okay, recognize and measure in accordance with the framework. If the reported income or expenses in an interim report is different, then the change are accommodated in the following interim financial statement. Revenue earned in a particular period is recognized in that period. Entity can only recognize the cost if it is incurred and not otherwise. Okay, we have some example on inventory and also impairment. Okay, depreciation, research and development, tax expenses. Okay, foreign currency, major planned periodic maintenance or overhaul. Okay, if we have provision, what should we do in preparing the interim financial report? Okay, this is the task that you need to complete. In order for you to complete this task, you may need to refer to the explanatory notes. Okay, how you should do your task. First, you need two sample of annual report provided. Two sample of interim report. Okay, I gave you 4 sample, right? Okay, so you need the 2 sample chosen from the sample provided. Okay, but the first sample you must choose Nestle. So Nestle adalah sampel yang you wajib pilih, and then you ada 3 lagi sampel lebih kan. So you pilih salah satu daripada 3. So it will be Nestle and satu lagi daripada 3 yang dah saya bagi. So what you should do is, for example, you go to katakanlah yang you pilih adalah Guancong Berhad. Okay, what you need to do is you pergi kepada Guancong Explanatory Notes section. Okay, so you need to identify how the company comply with each of the MFRS 134 requirement. Okay, for example, kalau you tengok notes to interim financial statement of Guancong Berhad, okay, sepatutnya untuk A1 tu you kena refer kepada requirement mana. Kenapa dia buat basis of preparation. A2, significant accounting policy, dia buat tu merujuk kepada yang mana. Okay. Contoh, sebab saya pilih yang pendek sikit. A3 dia tulis kat situ seasonal or cyclical factors. Okay. Kenapa Guancong tunjuk seasonal or cyclical factors? Because the requirement in MFRS 134, okay, minimum requirement number 3 stated that the company should include comment on the seasonality or cyclicality if in interim operation. Okay. Okay, so Guancong Berhad provide comment on its cocoa industry, saying that cocoa industry is subject to seasonal pattern. Okay, so maksudnya itu task yang you kena buat, you ambil katakanlah yang you pilih selain daripada Nestle tu, Nestle yang wajib you kena buat. Selain daripada Nestle, katakanlah you pilih kuancung berhad, you pergi kepada annual report, you pergi kepada explanatory notes sahaja. And then setiap satu explanatory notes yang disenaraikan, you need to refer how does it comply to MFRS 134 requirement of the explanatory notes. Okay, so that is what you need to do. Okay, with the sample annual report. In doing so, hopefully you refer to the slide provided. Okay, in that process, okay, hopefully it will assist you to read the slide provided. Okay, with that, that is the end of our session. Okay, if you have any question, then you should WhatsApp me or just ask in the group Telegram. Okay, thank you. Bye.